Good evening. Y'all, the craziest thing I'm dealing with, well, I'm not gonna say I'm dealing with, I've walked away from the situation. Why is this lunatic hacker fighting me for access to my account? Like, oh my god, it's too much. It's genuinely too much. I don't know what I am constantly having to deal with here. But it's coming to a close. Today was a very important day for me, and I want to share it with everybody. And I don't know if people have had a chance to go to my YouTube yet to check out what I've been going through. I've been sharing my gang stalking story. So it's been insane, you know. An entire group of people thought it was a good idea to try to gang stalk me to get me into being a drug mule. This is sage I'm burning. And this whole thing has spiraled out of control because I have had absolutely no interest in doing this whatsoever. And it seems to be something that people have a difficult time with understanding. And by people, I would say the chief person that was paid to get the job done, John Ferreira. Now, what John Ferreira is a thief, an irresponsible person generally in his own personal life. Probably has one of the worst lives, stories, habits, everything that I've ever heard of anyone I've ever known. But gossips about people to a crazy degree. Wants to hack all your stuff, have access to come in and out of your house, steal your property, do the most. And is unhinged. Like, if you refuse for you to change your life, get on a plane, sell drugs, if you refuse in any way, goes off of the freaking deep end, starts gang stalking you, starts turning a whole community against you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, everybody, wants to knock everything out of your hands, wants to put you in a situation where they look for ways to rip out money out of your hands every day. And if that's not enough, it's like they want to put you homeless, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, well, she has nothing left or he has nothing left. Now they're going to crawl back to me and accept my offer to be a drug mule. I had a grand opening and I invited a bunch of influencers. And I remember one particular couple that came. And this particular group, these two people that came were normal and lived a normal life when they came to my store for my grand opening in the summer. I saw these people, I want to say either November or December. By either November or December, the husband was at No Frills, basically taking food out of the donation bin. And he did not look well. It was beyond anxiety. It was beyond depression. It was beyond stress. I mean, he was looking like, the way he was looking was like ghosts were attacking him. Like he was possessed. And I was there with my daughter at the time, and I made her look over and I'm like, do you remember this guy from our grand opening? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, does he look normal or does he look frazzled? She's like, he looks scared. And remember, so these were people who came to our grand opening with designer bags and like, just like, you know, people living their regular life, like not people going through anything. They came out, they supported. The wife had a handbag business, but then she ended up having her baby, etc., etc. And the baby was still in a tiny stroller. Now, prior to this happening, later on, because we had our grand opening May 6th or so. And then again, I seen them kind of later on in the summer at Friday Harbor. And when I seen them at that time, when the wife seen me, she looked like, oh man, I ran into this girl. Like, you know, when people see you, but it's like they didn't want to run into you type of situation. So I said, oh, okay, sure, fine, not a problem. I didn't know what was going on at the time, but honestly, and not knowing what's going on. So I assumed at the time, I was like, well, I don't know if they're involved in whatever I'm going through. I don't know what the situation is, but it is what it is. This was late summer. I seen them at Friday Harbor and they barely wanted to give me a hug, but you know, they still did. They were polite. Then I'm saying, like October, November, I saw them. The husband was taking food out of the donation bin at the No Frills. Shortly after that, I seen them on a vacation and it hit me. These people just got recruited. These people essentially just successfully got recruited. And this is what I have been going through for a year and a half. This is the same nonsense that I've been going through, is a forced recruitment. So what it's looking like to me is majority of people do not want to be drug mules. In fact, I'm sure because of the kind of people that they need to go through airport security, people with no criminal records, people with no involvement in certain things, I'm sure that the majority of people want nothing to do with this lifestyle. And hence the reason why people like John Ferreira exist. John Ferreira exists to bully people into being drug mules. And no matter what we say, that's the long and short of it. And if you say no, they take your stability away from you. They turn a community away from you. They take away your Instagram engagement. They take away your ability to support yourself. And then they come in with the offer. Well, we'll pay you this much if you get on the plane and if you do this. And of course, you're on your knees. And this is what happens. That's the long and short of it. 7 minutes. That's it. That's the long and short of it. That's why I was gang stalked. And I go into my videos about how I was gang stalked. I go into the spiritual part of it. I go into all of that. But what it really boils down to is that's the reason why they do it. And I'm going to keep the spiritual component out of it for this video because I think the spiritual component kind of like ruins it for people, where it's like, if you're not spiritual, you don't buy in. But that's what's happened. And that's what he does. And he can fight me to try to get into my Instagram, to try to get on my phones, to try to do all of the stuff that he's doing. He can do all of that. He's not outrunning this situation because his secrets have been revealed. And that is the long and short of the situation. So this might, quite frankly, be the shortest video I've ever done. But that's what it boils down to. That's all it boils down to. If these people come around you, and there's a man named John Ferreira who comes around you, or any type of friend that comes around you, that offers you to go on trips with them, that offers you a private jet trip, that offers you any of the above, just know that if you say no, you will find that people will try to take your life away from you, and they will do so quite quickly. It's been a year and a half for me, but it will be much, much shorter for the average person. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Because you know what? I'm going to continue making these videos. But it's a critical point right now. We've gotten to a critical point. And I think he knows that as well. I'm positive he knows that as well. It's going to be the shortest video I've ever made, 9 minutes. I always end my videos with saying this because I make my videos for gang stalking survivors. I just want to say this before I end this video. To anybody who's going through gang stalking, I would like you guys to please be realistic about what is going on in your world. Please. Please stop saying you're on a government program and stuff like that, because whether you believe it in your heart or not, you're just putting yourself in a situation where people are not going to take you seriously. People are not going to believe what you're saying. And it's going to, take away legitimacy from something that is actually happening to you, and it's very illegal. You need to try to figure out what is actually going on in your world. You desperately need to figure out what is going on. And you need to do that very quickly. You need to figure out the real reason that you're being gang stalked. You know, for me, getting through it has been a very spiritual situation. Figuring everything out has been, but this is the crux of what's going on. This is the long and short of it. The long and short of it is somebody tried to recruit me to be a drug mule. And that's it. It's not complex. John Ferreira, and he got a whole bunch of people involved in the community, people who slandered me, people who tried to destroy my business, people who tried to destroy my reputation, people who tried to take a lot of resources away from me. And he paid and bribed people all the way down from, like, you know, whatever he could, whether it was people at the bank to get information, whether it was people in my neighborhood. It's still people in my neighborhood that they're trying to get after me. They're trying to get people that live around me to watch me, watch when I'm leaving, watch when I come back. They already started trying to do that stuff. And I think people don't want anything to do with this crap anymore. It's, first of all, it's loud. It's loud and it's ridiculous. It's like, if people are making IG videos, you might want to just leave this person alone. He's out of his mind. And this is a PSA to anybody still doing this. Like, you're going to end up on the news. Are you kidding me? Leave it alone. It doesn't make any sense. It truly doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why people are still agreeing to work with this guy. And majority of people are not, to be honest with you. People don't care about this anymore. My neighbors who went along with it in the beginning are ducking and diving and walking away. They don't want to see me. They don't want to see me coming out of my house. They don't come up to me. They don't say anything to me. It's like ridiculous. So that being the case, you know, I'm going to end it here. 12 minutes might be the shortest video I have ever made. Thank God. Have a good night. And I'm going to post to my Instagram. And you know what? It's about time for this kind of crap to come to an end. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. That fat pig, that demon, that criminal, that soulless, vapid monster needs to be locked up in a fucking cage. There's no way that anybody should wake up out of their bed in the morning with the intention of destroying another human being's life completely to make them into some sort of slave to work for them. Go get a job, go get a life, and do things for yourself. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it's one thing if somebody says, yeah, I'm okay with it, I don't mind doing it. But for you to destroy somebody's life who doesn't want to live that type of lifestyle, and they cage people to this thing, when people are in, they do not let people get out of the situation. No. And that's what they did to my ex. They have my ex locked up, scared for his life, scared for his children's lives. They've pulled a whole child out of his life that he's never met. That is how heartless and soulless these people are. And the whole world needs to know how insane this monster is. And that is the end of that. And I am so grateful and so happy that I've escaped this nightmare. But I'm not letting him get away with it. And he knows that. He knows that. That is why he's on pins and needles. He knows that. So anyway, have yourself a good night. My video is lagging as hell. I need to check my other YouTube video and make sure that all my videos are not lagging like this. I don't know if it's just this phone or what, but have a good night. That's all I have to say for tonight. John Ferreira is his name. John Ferreira. He used to have a repair shop called Automotive Techniques in Etobicoke, 363 Bering Avenue in Etobicoke. He's the worst criminal to ever work with. He draws everybody into his drama, and everybody's going to be named. Everybody's going to be subpoenaed. Everybody's going to be called. I have been waiting for today for so long, and he's not getting away.